Welcome. I am Day. I am in recovery from loss, grief, trauma, and addiction. In my years of actively pursuing intentional wellness and recovery, I have come across some affirmations, reflections, devotions, and meditations, which I will share with you now. Fair use, April 3rd. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. Accepting our humaneness. We finally saw that the inventory should be ours, not the other man's. So we admitted our wrongs honestly and became willing to set these matters straight. As Bill sees it, page 222. Why is it that the alcoholic is so unwilling to accept responsibility? I used to drink because of the things that other people did to me. Once I came to AA, I was told to look at where I had been wrong. What did I have to do with all these different matters? When I simply accepted that I had a part in them, I was able to put it on paper and see it for what it was: humaneness. I am not expected to be perfect. I have made errors before and I will make them again. To be honest about them allows me to accept them and myself and those with whom I had the differences. From there, recovery is just a short distance ahead. Courage to Change One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, April 3rd. Many of us resisted coming to Al-Anon because we didn't want anyone to know about our problems. We feared that our boss or our friends would find out or that it would get back to the alcoholic. These fears accompanied me to my first Al-Anon meeting. To my horror, just as I sat down, one of my neighbors walked into the room and sat down across from me. What could I do now? Run? In the midst of my panic, I noticed a sign on the table that said, "Whom you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, let it stay here." And on the wall, I saw a banner with the traditions, one of which said that anonymity is Al-Anon's spiritual foundation. I stayed for the meeting, but I still worried. My neighbor never said a word to anyone. In time, I began to trust that it was safe to get the help I so desperately needed, because the only one who would ever mention my membership in Al-Anon was me. And this day, I am confident that my anonymity was and always will be protected, and my gratitude is beyond measure. Today's reminder: unless I protect the anonymity of all members, Al-Anon will not be a safe place for any of us. Our free expression, so important to our recovery, rests on our sense of security, knowing that what we share at our meetings will be held in strict confidence. Al-Anon, spoken here. Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, April 3rd. For you alone. The idea of a spiritual awakening takes many different forms in the different personalities that we find in the fellowship. Basic text, page 49. Though we all work the same steps, each of us experiences the spiritual awakening resulting from them in our own way. The shape that spiritual awakening takes in our lives will vary depending on who we are. For some of us, the spiritual awakening promised in the 12th step will result in a renewed interest in religion or mysticism. Others will awaken to an understanding of the lives of those around them, experiencing empathy perhaps for the first time. Still others will realize that the steps have awakened them to their own moral or ethical principles. Most of us experience our spiritual awakening as a combination of these things, each combination as unique as the individual who's been awakened. If there are so many different varieties of spiritual awakenings, how do we know if we've truly had one? The 12th step provides us with two signs. We've found principles capable of guiding us well, the kind of principles we want to practice in all our affairs. And we've begun to care enough about other addicts to freely share with them the experience we've had. No matter what the details of our awakenings are like, we all are given the guidance and the love we need to live fulfilling, spiritually oriented lives. Just for today, regardless of its particular shape, my spiritual awakening has helped me fill my place in the world with love and life. For that, I am grateful. Today, Emotions Anonymous, April 3rd. Reflection for today. Perfectionism is one of my character defects. When I worked hard and honestly on my fourth step, I was anticipating a feeling of happiness and accomplishment. I had already made plans to share it with my fifth step person. The day came and my strong feelings were, it's not good enough. It doesn't mean anything. The work was less than adequate. I reviewed my fourth step and realized not only was I looking for perfection, I was also fearful of rejection. Only with trust in my higher power and knowledge that I had honestly tried to do a good job could I overcome the fear and share my fourth step. Meditation for today. Thank you for the strength and love and courage you give me whenever I ask for it. Today I will remember my higher power is always there for me. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. April 3rd. Step 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. BRB, page 150. When we do our Step 4 inventory in the yellow workbook, we see that so many of our childhood experiences still seem like fresh wounds. Things that we may have talked about endlessly, even in therapy, take on new meaning when it all suddenly comes together. We notice patterns. We begin to see a way out of the madness. We breathe a little deeper as the pain begins to subside. We trust in the process. We see that others who have gone through this seem lighter and have a flexibility we want. We trust their experience. We notice that this inventory is going deeper than the step work we may have done in other 12-step programs. We are examining issues that we may have minimized before, especially surrounding our feelings. We try to be as fearless as possible, even though we try not to hold back. We also do not push our inner children to recount what they are not ready to see. We know we can do another fourth step for the next layer of the onion. The affirmation reads, on this day, I allow myself to be honest and thorough, welcoming the fact that I am always learning more about myself. DHB Devotion Health and Beauty Recovery Network. Daily Devotions read by me, and I am Day. DAA are my initials. Please like, subscribe, share, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be, one day at a time.